Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel, and today I'm going to just show you how I am replacing a bulb that I had to remove from the built-in, I say built-in, it is the light fixture for the Pfaff Model 30 that you see behind us here, and it has, or had I should say, a bulb in it. The bulb had, I never plugged it in. You might say, well, why would you replace it if you don't know if it's burned out? Well, when I went to touch it, you can see the base had already separated. This is something that happens to bulbs when they get really old. These bulbs could last a very long time, but you know, the heat cycles that they go through eventually, whatever the glue or cement was that they used to bond it to the glass has failed, so it was time. And so I was lucky, if you saw it in the video, I was able to get the bulb out. I was able to push in, pull it out in spite of these two things being in this bad of a shape. Now, what am I going to do? I'm just looking into the socket here. And when you peer in here, what you're actually seeing, this is what a socket for a Bayonet Style bulb. Let's move things out of the way here so we can actually see what I'm trying to show you. It looks something like this. And of course you don't see any threads because this is not a threaded bulb type. Now, what I often like to do with any kind of contact is I often take, I'll take my cotton swab with 99% isopropyl alcohol. Normally, I don't honestly ever find anything in these sockets. Make sure if you are inspecting any kind of socket, make sure it's not plugged in. This is not even attached to the machine, but just a reminder. It helps me remind me. So, but it's the contacts. I'm just checking to see, oh, there was like just a tad. This is really, honestly, in terms of all the years that I've restored machines, this is probably one of the only times I've ever done this. It just isn't needed. There's nothing in there. If there's any kind of dust or debris around the outside, we can just, the main purpose there is to keep that off of the light bulb. And I've got, I don't even need alcohol for this. I'll just take a little rag and I can wipe let's see if I can shove this on the cam for you instead of just talking about it. There we go. This is the underside of, this is basically the shade that keeps the light from hitting you in the eyes when you're standing over the machine. And I'm just removing any dust that I saw there just to make sure. I'm really mainly doing this to keep any dust from falling onto a bulb. So, all right. If you have not ever cleaned your socket, don't worry. You probably don't need to. This is the first time I've ever done it, and I was just basically looking at it, make sure nothing looked burned out or damaged, and I didn't see any damage. All right. So let's go and focus here. We're going to focus on our bulb options. Of course, here is the original. If you have the original bulb, it's always useful because you want to use that to help you size what your replacement's going to be. If you don't have the original bulb, then it can be helpful to do a search online to see what bulb it might take, or you can watch videos like those on this channel. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember, but this particular LED, this is a Bayonet Style, right? Just like this one, not brass. The base isn't brass, but it's the same type of bulb. And I had ordered two of these. I used one of them for that domestic 1514 model. That was the machine that had the very unusual light bulb size. I'd never really needed one of that. Well, no, that's not true. I think I may have used one of these on a Singer Featherweight restoration I did long ago. So, and then I have, now this one is interesting. Let's make sure, see if they're the same. These LED bulbs come in longer versions. And I don't have a longer version now, but they have the same wattage really. It's mostly about making sure that the bulb will fit. So if you have a bulb to compare and you are trying to make sure that the new bulb is going to fit, and I've shown this in other videos, you basically look at the base first. Well, the base is the same. It's the same size and or the same circumference. It's got the two pins on on either side of the base, and it is essentially the same length. What you see on the left with the LED is actually not the base, but there's like this sort of there's like a lip here that leads into the actual housing itself. The main thing you want to remember is that the bulb that you insert into the light housing needs to be either the same length as the old bulb, and these are, it's not far off, the new one I'm going to use here. It's actually the one that I'm going to put in place is actually a little bit shorter than the original, and that's okay. I have had in the past, and I don't see any at the moment, I've had LEDs that were slightly longer, and for the moment I can't remember specifically which machines I had placed them in, but the bulbs that you see here, I have other bulbs that I had pulled out, and these are incandescents, and I do have, in addition to threaded ones, I do have the bayonet style in the incandescent. But when I replace a bulb, unless if I have a client that says, hey, I really want an incandescent bulb, maybe they do, they are still made, you can get them. Is there a price difference? Honestly, I don't know that there is, but the LEDs burn, they run a lot cooler, and they are warm white, okay, so they're not the eerie, creepy white of the early LED bulbs that we used to have access to. So again, as I've shown in other videos, when it comes to light bulb replacement, what you don't want is to have a bulb that is longer than the original. Now on this fixture, it also depends, as I've shown you before, on the actual fixture. If I had a bulb that was longer than the original, it might be okay, as long as the wattage is compatible in terms of the wattage of the light bulb. But if it was longer physically, it probably would be okay, unlike in that beautiful turquoise Singer clone machine that I showed you all, where it really made a difference, the length of the bulb. You never want to have a bulb that is too long, because it may not fit in the housing. So here it's probably not an issue, but I'm going to use the LED bulb that you see right here. And again, inserting a bayonet style bulb is really a pretty straightforward thing. What I'm going to do here is I think I've shown this before in a different light fixture. I think it was on the Singer 99K, I believe. Anyway, you can just, if you're not sure how to line it up, it's an easy, you put it in, just turn it clockwise, and then notice these little pins are going to fall into this little opening. You can see there's an opening, a little slot there, and there's one on the other side. Now, remember, doing that, you have not installed the bulb. I always like to remind people of this, because a bayonet style bulb is not something a lot of us have a lot of experience with in modern devices. So in order for this bulb to be installed, right, if I just turn it like this, it's going to plop out. So what I want to do is push down, okay, and then turn to the right, and it only went like 1/8 of an inch, right? Now if I try to tug on the bulb to pull it out, it won't come out, because it is now mounted as it should be. So that's it. That is how you mount a bayonet LED bulb, or to replace a bulb in the light fixture of a Pfaff Model number 30. As we move closer and hopefully get to debut time. Hopefully I don't have that much more to do with the machine, other than as I've mentioned, I'm going to need to be installing it back into the table, because this is a machine that I have learned, because it's my first, that you really cannot just put it on a table. It's sitting, you can see it sitting here, but again, there's part of its drivetrain is going to catch because it needs clearance. So there you go, folks. Thank you all for watching, and whether you have a Pfaff Model 30 or maybe you don't even have a Pfaff machine, a lot of what I've shown you here will apply, and it's, typically you see a lot of the vintage Singers that use Bayonet Style light bulbs. So anyway, if you have not subscribed, please feel free to do so. Just click on the subscribe button. And if you would like to donate to my Buy Me a Coffee page, where I raise money to basically get funding to purchase more of these machines and to rescue more of them, and then bring videos of how to restore them here to you on the channel. Just click on any of the videos that I have, because they all should have the Buy Me a Coffee link, and the homepage itself. You will see the Buy Me a Coffee link. It's very easy. You just click on it and it takes you right there. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next installment as we get close. Almost. I can feel it, folks. Almost. We're getting ready to test the Pfaff and see if all this effort of mine has actually been useful, because we're going to find out when we turn it on. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you soon.